Hi my dear parents, students and teachers. In the next few series of episodes, I am going to discuss about a very important concept called mindfulness training. Over the last more than 3 decades, me and my wife Radha have been working closely with students, teachers and parents. One of the major issues the parents, teachers and the students complain is about inability to focus on one issue at a time, lack of concentration. See, if you really look at what's happening the last 10 years especially in the education field and in the world of opportunities, enormous new opportunities are opening up. New product, new services, and to meet the expectations of people, the education sector is also gearing up with new content, with the new subjects, with the new field of study. Competition is catching up very fast. There was a time way back in 60s, 70s and even 80s, a 90% mark in a school or a college was considered to be good enough to build a good career. But today we talk about as close to centum as possible. If you want to get an admission into some of the best educational institutions, anything less than 98% is not considered good enough. In fact, there are educational institutions which insist a 100% in the school final exam. And the children are also very focused in terms of what they want in their life. Today, after plus 2, children have such a wide choice and their ambition is also much more than what their fathers and grandfathers had. In this context, we are discussing about mindfulness. What is mindfulness training? Simple, mind plus full plus training. How do you take a thought into your mind 100%? Supposing a child is studying any subject, maths, physics, chemistry, biology, accountancy, commerce, anything, it is absolutely necessary that the child's mind should be fully occupied by the subject the child is studying. Because as I said earlier, anything less than 98% is not considered okay. So in the field of education, we are going through a phase of acute competition. Survival of the fittest. We have two systems engaged in our daily life. One is the brain system, the other is the mind system. If brain is the only system existing or relevant for education, it is easy to take a content into the brain by a mechanical process, like transferring a data from one mobile phone to another mobile phone through a technology called Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi, or a content is being filled with some material. Unfortunately, education does not take place that way. The mind should cooperate with the brain. Unless and until the student is able to focus 100% on the subject of study, the content of study will not get into the mind, will not get into the brain also, and so it cannot be there in the long term memory. I have repeatedly been telling that we own two factories. The brain, which is a chemical factory, the mind, which is a thought factory. The brain chemicals and hormones are required, and the brain secretes such hormones and chemicals to keep us fit clinically. You go through the in the Google search brain chemicals and hormones, you will be surprised how the concept of a chemical factory, the brain, is relevant. But even for this chemical factory to work properly, we need to have the mind, which is the second factory we are having. The mind is a thought factory. And lot of thoughts cross our mind. So in this context, we should train our children to entertain one thought at a time. That is why we need mindfulness training. Let me give an example of how the mind wanders and how the mind has to be controlled. Supposing you let go a sheep in a green grass area, the sheep will go all around uncontrolled. But if you tether the same sheep with a rope, with a peg, the sheep will go around only on a small little area. This analogy is relevant for mind also. We should train our children how to focus and concentrate. In my live workshop on mindfulness training, I asked the participants, how many of you ask your children to focus, to concentrate? We say focus on studies, concentrate on your homework, all the hands will go up. But I asked them the question, how many of you train your children on how to focus and how to pay attention? Very few hands will go up. Look at this situation. We ask them to concentrate, but we don't teach them to concentrate. We ask them to pay attention, but we don't teach them to pay attention. Supposing we give a cycle to a 4-year-old and ask the child to ride the cycle, the child will not be able to do it unless you train. Even for children, we teach them how to walk. Sports people are trained how to play the sport. But we don't train our children how to pay attention, how to concentrate and focus. In this series of episodes, we will discuss some of the basic principles of mindfulness training. This will be useful not only to students but also to anybody who have got something to achieve in life. Please follow these lessons and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you have any comments, please post it in the comment box. I will try to answer. I will see you in the next episode.
ABS Vidya Mandir, Tiruvallur.
ABS Vidya